Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Jonnu Smith's departure from the Miami Dolphins wasn't just a business move, it was a gut punch, and not only for him, for fans, teammates, and even critics of the team. The trade came as a shock. After a breakout season where Smith shattered personal records and became a key piece of Miami's offense, most assumed the Dolphins would prioritize his return. But when news broke that he was being shipped off to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the NFL world blinked in disbelief. It wasn't just about losing a talented tight end, it was about losing a guy who wanted to be there, who lived and breathed South Florida both on and off the field. And that's what makes this story sting even more. Jonnu wasn't just a player, they had a man who was emotionally invested in the city, the locker room, and the vision. To move him now feels like Miami turned its back on something special and possibly someone irreplaceable. Mike McDaniel, meanwhile, finds himself under fire heading into the 2025 season. It's not entirely fair to put all the weight of last season's failure on him, but the NFL is rarely a place for fairness. With a losing record and no playoff appearance, the Dolphins brass clearly felt the pressure to shake things up. However, instead of bolstering McDaniel's squad, they seem to have stripped it down. And that's a risky bet when your head coach is already sitting on a scalding hot seat. Trading away stars like Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith doesn't scream "let's win now." It sounds more like a rebuild, or at best, a desperate reset. And if it doesn't pay off early, McDaniel could find himself out of a job before Halloween. It's a high-stakes gamble, and one that might backfire spectacularly if the locker room begins to unravel without its leaders. Smith's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, made it abundantly clear Miami was always the goal. This wasn't a player eyeing greener pastures or chasing a payday across the country. Jonnu wanted to stay. He had built a life in Miami, called it home in the offseason, and by all accounts, thrived within the Dolphins system. Rosenhaus emphasized his client's loyalty and commitment to the team, highlighting just how much the city and organization meant to him. So when that loyalty wasn't returned with a new contract or even a real effort to negotiate, it understandably hit hard. This wasn't just about money, it was about belonging. And when a team ignores that kind of emotional and personal investment, it raises serious questions about its culture and leadership. Was this really a necessary cap decision? Or did the Dolphins undervalue one of their most reliable weapons in Pittsburgh? Jonnu Smith will have a fresh start, but it's clear he'll carry a piece of Miami with him. His statement following the trade was filled with class and gratitude, yet the pain seeped through. "I didn't foresee this happening," he said, a line that says so much. Smith wasn't blindsided by the possibility of a trade to every player. Understands the business side, but by the timing and circumstance. After a career-best year, one that should have earned him a long-term extension, he was cast aside. He acknowledged the business aspect, but his disappointment was human, heartfelt, and relatable. For fans who had grown to love his grit, work ethic, and big playability, it was tough to watch. For Smith, it was personal. Miami was more than a team, it was a home, and now, just like that, it's gone. That's a different kind of hurt. Smith's career has been one of perseverance. Drafted in 2017, he had to fight for every snap, every opportunity. He bounced from Tennessee to New England and eventually landed in Miami, where he finally found a system that highlighted his strengths. Explosive after the catch, physical at the point of attack, and surprisingly graceful in open space. Smith became a nightmare for defenses and a safety blanket for quarterbacks. Last season, he posted career highs in receptions, yards, and touchdowns, establishing himself as one of the top tight ends in the AFC. It wasn't just a good year, it was a statement year. For the Dolphins to part ways now, at the peak of his production, is puzzling at best and negligent at worst. It signals either a complete philosophical shift or a front office that doesn't fully grasp what it had. Either way, it's a head-scratcher. From a team chemistry perspective, the move also risks undermining morale. Players notice when a well-liked teammate is sent away, especially one who poured everything into the team and wanted to stay. Smith wasn't just respected, he was beloved. His work ethic was contagious, his energy infectious. For a team trying to bounce back from a losing season, removing key locker room leaders can fracture the unity needed to right the ship. If the front office thought this was a small move, they may have miscalculated the ripple effect. Veterans start to question their own futures. Young guys begin to wonder if loyalty or performance even matters. That kind of doubt can poison a team from the inside. McDaniel now faces not just the task of winning games, but of holding together a roster that may feel betrayed. And that's a tall order for any coach, especially one already under scrutiny. Let's talk about the Steelers for a second, because while Miami may have lost, Pittsburgh just won big. They're getting a tight end entering the prime of his career, fresh off a monster season, and still hungry to prove his worth. Smith brings toughness, versatility, and a team-first attitude traits Mike Tomlin has always prized. Paired with an evolving young offense, Smith could be the piece that takes them over the edge. For a team that's quietly building something formidable, adding a veteran with his skill set is a savvy move. And you can bet Smith will be motivated to show Miami what they gave up. Don't be surprised if he circles week whatever on the calendar if these two teams happen to meet. Because players remember, especially the ones who didn't want to leave. And when they get the chance to make a statement on the field, they usually do, loudly. Back in Miami, the pressure is now sky high, fans are restless, media is circling, and McDaniel must somehow navigate a minefield with fewer weapons at his disposal. Losing Jonnu Smith means losing a reliable red zone target, a run-blocking force, and an emotional leader. Combine that with the departure of Jalen Ramsey, and the Dolphins look a lot thinner at key positions. The margin for error just shrank dramatically. It's hard to see how McDaniel comes out of this stronger, unless the front office has a master plan that no one sees yet. Maybe there's a blockbuster signing coming. Maybe they're banking on young players to step up. But right now, it feels like subtraction by subtraction. The kind of offseason that creates more questions than answers. And unless things turn around quickly, the countdown on McDaniel's tenure may already be ticking. What makes this sting even more is how avoidable it all seemed. If Smith wanted to stay, if he had the season of his life, if he was willing to negotiate in good faith, why not find a way? There's always room for creativity with the cap, restructures, bonuses, incentive smart. Teams find ways to keep their core guys. But Miami didn't. Whether that's mismanagement or a misread of value, it sends a message. And not a good one. That message: performance doesn't guarantee security. Loyalty doesn't guarantee longevity, and even when you give everything to the team, it might not be enough. That kind of message reverberates through an organization. It's the kind of move that can linger, not just in the minds of fans, but in the hearts of players who now wonder, if it happened to Jonnu, who's next? In the end, Jonnu Smith's trade is about more than football. It's about identity. It's about how teams build trust, how they reward dedication, and how they treat players as people, not just assets. For Miami, this was a crossroads moment. They chose the path of cold calculation. Maybe it works out. Maybe they find a younger, cheaper replacement and everything clicks. But maybe they just let go of the glue guy who held a big part of the locker room together. And in a league where the margins between winning and losing are razor thin, that can be the difference. For Jonnu Smith, his next chapter begins in Pittsburgh. But for the Dolphins, this move may define their season for better or worse. And if things go sideways early in 2025, don't be surprised if this trade becomes the symbol of a franchise that lost more than just a tight end. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? Big news swirling around the NFL universe as Darren Waller, the former star tight end, has reportedly come out of retirement in a stunning twist that has fans and analysts buzzing alike. After a period away from the game, where many believed his career had reached a close, whispers are now growing louder about his imminent signing with the Miami Dolphins. This potential move could inject a serious dose of experience and skill into the Dolphins' offensive arsenal, and the timing couldn't be more intriguing. Waller's decision to lace up his cleats again, especially for a team hungry to make waves, opens up a tantalizing scenario. Could this be the spark that propels Miami into serious contention? Speculation is rife as insiders hint that contract negotiations are underway, and the Dolphins are looking to add that veteran presence that can change the dynamic of a struggling offense. What makes this possible reunion even more exciting is Darren Waller's proven track record as one of the most dynamic tight ends in the league before he stepped away. Known for his unique blend of size, speed, and hands, Waller became a nightmare matchup for defenses across the NFL. His ability to stretch the field and create mismatches would be an invaluable asset for the Dolphins, who have been searching for reliable weapons to support their young quarterback. Rumors suggest that the Dolphins coaching staff sees Waller as a key piece to complement their evolving offense. Fans are already imagining the potential highlights: Waller hauling in contested catches in the red zone or breaking tackles on critical third downs. This buzz is fueling hope that Miami might finally have found the missing link to elevate their passing game to the next level. The backstory here adds even more intrigue. Darren Waller's retirement was a shock to many, as he seemed to still have plenty left in the tank. Rumors circulated that his decision stemmed from personal reasons and health concerns, but the lingering question was always if he might return. Now, the chatter about his comeback feels almost like a redemption story in the making. There's speculation that the Dolphins front office reached out to Waller, promising a role that would maximize his talents without the wear and tear he might have endured elsewhere. If true, this suggests Miami is not just adding a player, but bringing in a mentor and leader to help mold their younger receivers and tight ends. The whole narrative is gaining traction in sports circles, making this possible signing one of the most talked about stories of the offseason, adding fuel to the fire. Insiders have hinted that Waller's potential contract with the Dolphins could be structured in a way that benefits both sides, with incentives tied to performance and playing time. This approach would allow Waller to prove he still belongs at the highest level, while giving Miami flexibility in managing their roster and salary cap. The mere existence of these negotiations has caused a ripple effect, with other teams reportedly keeping tabs on the situation, ready to pounce if Miami hesitates. For the Dolphins, landing a player of Waller's caliber, especially one coming off retirement, could symbolize a bold statement about their ambitions for the upcoming season. The buzz around this move is creating a palpable sense of anticipation among fans and commentators alike. What makes this rumbling even more captivating is the timing in relation to Miami's recent roster moves and draft choices. The team has been active in bolstering its offense, but still seems to be searching for a true playmaker who can consistently draw defensive attention. Waller fits that profile perfectly, given his history as a game-changing talent. The potential signing also fits neatly into the Dolphins' broader strategy of blending youthful energy with seasoned veterans who can provide leadership and experience. Observers speculate that this blend could help the Dolphins bridge the gap between promise and playoff success. If Waller can come back at close to his previous form, this move could very well shift the power dynamics within the AFC East. As the rumor mill continues to churn, there's talk about how Waller's presence could impact the Dolphins' offensive schemes. Known for his versatility, Waller can line up in multiple positions, which could give the Dolphins' offense a much-needed unpredictability. This flexibility might force opposing defenses to adjust their game plans, potentially opening up opportunities for other playmakers on the Dolphins' roster. The coaching staff is reportedly excited about the prospect of adding such a multidimensional threat. Fans are imagining electrifying game moments where Waller uses his size and speed to dominate defenders, making contested catches look routine. This potential signing feels like a storyline straight out of a sports drama, with high stakes and plenty of suspense. There's also a significant narrative around Waller's journey back to football, and how it might inspire both teammates and fans. Coming out of retirement is never an easy decision, especially in such a physically demanding sport, which suggests that Waller still feels passionate and hungry for the game. Rumors hint that Miami's culture and vision were key factors in convincing him to return. The team's commitment to growth and competitiveness could have reignited Waller's desire to contribute at the highest level. This comeback story adds emotional weight to the rumors and makes the potential signing even more compelling. For the Dolphins, it would be a win not just in terms of talent, but also morale and motivation. Another angle adding spice to this developing story is how Waller's signing might affect the Dolphins' locker room dynamics. Bringing in a player with his experience and pedigree could provide invaluable mentorship for younger players who are still finding their footing in the league. There's speculation that Waller's leadership qualities were highlighted in discussions between him and the Dolphins' management. His journey marked by resilience and perseverance could serve as a powerful example within the team. If the rumors prove true, this signing might catalyze a stronger, more cohesive unit ready to take on the challenges of a tough NFL schedule. It's no wonder that the buzz surrounding Waller in Miami is only getting louder. Finally, the big question remains, can Darren Waller return to his previous elite form after time away from the game? Skeptics point to the physical toll of the NFL and the difficulty of coming back after retirement, while believers argue that his talent and determination are unmatched. The Dolphins are reportedly betting on the latter, hoping that Waller's motivation and skills will translate into meaningful contributions on the field. The intrigue around this potential comeback is driving conversations not just about Miami's future, but also about the nature of career longevity and second chances in professional sports. As training camps approach and preseason preparations begin, all eyes will be on Waller and the Dolphins to see if this rumor transforms into reality and, ultimately, into on-field success. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!